painted faces, frozen smiles, red noses that squeak when pressed. For centuries, clowns have been symbols of laughter, mischief, and carnival. They have also been omens of unease, figures that hide as much as they reveal. When the paint goes on, the person disappears, replaced by something strange and unsettling. This is the Midnight Law Society. Tonight we follow the trail of clowns that laughed with bullets instead of jokes, and the legends they left behind. From phantom clown sightings in the United States and haunted clown dolls whispered about in family homes. Serial killers who wore the mask of comedy as a disguise, clowns have always walked the edge between play and nightmare. In Brazil during the early 1990s, this ancient unease took to the streets in a very real and very violent way. They came not from circus tents, but from the back of motorcycles. Gunmen dressed as clowns appeared out of nowhere, pulled their weapons, and left bodies in their wake. The newspapers called them Os Palhaços Assassinos, the killer clowns. It began in the northeastern states of Brazil. Cities already struggling with corruption and poverty suddenly found themselves stalked by painted faces. Witnesses said the killers rode in pairs, one steering the motorcycle, the other ready to strike. Their costumes were unmistakable: painted faces, wigs, bright clothes, and then the flash of steel. Victims included businessmen, politicians, and community figures. Some were tied to organised crime, others had reputations for exploiting their neighbours. It was as if the clowns were delivering a list of punishments. At first, police insisted it was nothing supernatural. Criminals often wore masks to hide their identities, but why clowns? Why mockery made flesh? The disguise was not just to conceal, but to terrify. The sound of a motorcycle engine at night became a bad omen. The glimpse of a painted smile meant death was close. As the panic grew, old folklore returned to the surface. Brazil has folk Catholic traditions in which figures dress as fools, jesters, or tricksters during festivals. They parody the powerful. They mock kings, priests, and judges. They act out what no one dares speak. In these traditions, clowns are not harmless. They are masks of chaos and sometimes of vengeance. People began to say the clowns on motorcycles were not men at all. They were spirits. Spirits of judgment disguised in carnival colours. The killings fed the legend. A cafe owner gunned down in front of customers. A politician pulled from his car in broad daylight. A man shot on the steps of his home while children watched. Each time the killers vanished into the alleys and highways. Each time people said they heard laughter long after the gunfire ended. Circuses struggled. Families no longer welcomed clowns with balloons and tricks. Red noses meant fear, not joy. Parents warned their children to run if they saw a painted face. The very image of the clown shifted in the public imagination. Not laughter, not play, only menace. Some newspapers treated it as gang warfare in costume. Others leaned into the supernatural. They wrote about demons on wheels. They described ghostly riders who vanished into the mist. Farmers told of seeing painted faces staring at them from the roadside, only to fade when approached. People swore that laughter followed them home after nightfall. The truth was never discovered. Arrests were rare, and those captured were often pranksters or unrelated criminals. No network of assassins was ever proven. The more the authorities failed, the more people believed that something beyond human law was at work. The clowns seemed untouchable, as if no cage could hold them and no bullets could stop them. Police records from the period describe conflicting witness accounts. Some remembered bright wigs and patched coats. Others saw only plain clothes and a painted grin. Motorcycles were reported as red in one case and black in another. 2 riders here, 3 riders there. The contradictions made prosecution nearly impossible. In the absence of certainty, the legend grew. Communities adapted in quiet ways. Shopkeepers closed early. Street vendors packed up before sunset. Neighbourhood watches patrolled corner to corner, listening for engines in the dark. Children learned to look twice at posters for travelling shows. A costume in daylight could be a joke. The same costume at midnight was a warning. Folklorists later noted how the story echoed older fears. Masks that mock kings and priests, tricksters who punish arrogance, dancers in painted faces who speak truth through laughter. In the northeastern states, these images run deep, blending Catholic pageant with indigenous and African threads. The killer clowns fit too well, Like a ritual turned inside out, play transformed into punishment. Decades later, the legend lingers. Speak to older residents and they will remember the hush that fell when an engine growled down a narrow street. They will tell you how quickly curtains shifted and doors shut if someone glimpsed a flash of colour under a helmet. The painted smile became a symbol, not of carnivals and birthday parties, a sign that judgment could arrive without warning. Were the killer clowns criminals hiding behind paint, mocking society as they killed? Were they a secret brotherhood, carrying out vigilante justice? Or were they something older, the spirits of carnival tricksters unleashed on a corrupt world? No one can say. What remains certain is this. In Brazil during the 1990s, the clown became death's disguise, and once you saw the painted smile, you would never forget it. Join the Midnight Law Society. Like, comment, and subscribe to walk deeper into the shadows of forgotten history, occult mysteries, and ancient fears. The masks are waiting, and the shadows are listening.